Hello and welcome to another video blog from Vivesco Mobile Health and Fitness. Topic today is hydration. A lot of you are probably going to go right now, oh, there you go, another one who's going to tell us to drink enough water, whoop-de-doo, what's the news? And yeah, fair enough, it's going to go down that road, but I hope you'll get some more information out of this and maybe get a bit of motivation as well to actually go and drink that extra bit of water. So here's a photo showing you how the water content of the body, which is usually between 55 and 65% depending on male or female, how big you are, like how much you weigh, more fat, less water in the body is usually the case. So that photo shows you how that percentage then is broken down into the actual body systems. Now, looking at how the body is using water in every single system, it really makes me wonder how people just don't drink water and are not looking after themselves and their body. I always get asked that question, how is it that I'm so sore? Why is this hurting? What's going on with me? I'm, eating kind of healthy and okay. What's going on? And a lot of times I tell them that it can be as simple as being slightly dehydrated. And unfortunately, most of our population is actually constantly slightly dehydrated. So if we're in Australia here, you all know beef jerky and you all know how hard it is to chew that stuff, how stringy it is, gooey, gummy to break. It's hard, you can't even break it anymore. What is beef jerky? It's muscle, it's meat. So it's the same what we've got in our body. And if you dehydrate muscle, that's what happens to it, and not just the muscle but also the ligaments and tendons. Everything just glues together and sticks and gets tight, and yeah, so there, that's why I often say, well, it can be as easy as just being slightly dehydrated, because slight dehydration leads already into that. It might not be the only cause, but it can definitely be where it all started and then led on to increased inflammation and all that kind of stuff. So how do we get dehydrated? First of all, simple, we just don't drink enough water. Second of all, you can have underlying conditions like diabetes, for example, that can get you more dehydrated. Having it hot, so you're sweating a lot, having a fever. Summer isn't as hot as of yet, but yeah, definitely sweating and having heat around you, even just being in a warm environment, will definitely going to make your body lose more water as well. And you might not even be aware of it, particularly with all the wind that we had around, because you just actually don't feel that hot, you don't feel how you sweat, you pretty much dry straight away. So you got to make sure to carry a water bottle always with you to keep drinking plenty of water. And unfortunately, water is really what we're looking to fuel our body with. It's not coffee, it's not teas, it's not soft drinks, certainly not soft drinks or milk, even juices. Some fruits that are really high in water content, or vegetables like your watermelon, your zucchini, your cucumber, probably one of the best ones. Those ones can definitely make up for not drinking enough water, but it's hard to tell if you're eating high content water fruits and veg, how much water you're getting in. So to know also how much you're drinking or how much you need to drink, you really need to start getting aware and feel your body and yeah, just experiment with it, but I'll get into that a bit later. If I take you back to that picture from earlier, I bring that now into context with drinking caffeinated drinks or sugared drinks like your soft drinks and all that kind of stuff. Caffeinated sugar drinks, they're all processed, they come with extra flavoring and coloring, so all those stuff needs to actually be processed by the body. Having that picture in mind, how our systems, our organs use water to work properly, to function properly, it would make sense that if you put extra stuff into our body that goes through those systems, the body needs more water to process that properly. So if you drink soft drinks to quench your thirst, you're actually doing the opposite. You really need to drink extra water then on top of that to help your body to process that soft drink. So definitely not a good idea if you want to rehydrate your body to go for a soft drink or a coffee. Coffee is in a sense even worse because it's a natural diuretic, same as your teas, which pulls water out of the cells and excretes it out of the body. So again, you need to actually replenish with even more water to make up for what you've just lost. So if you're one of those people that gets up in the morning and drinks coffee first thing in the morning, and I have to admit I'm one of those persons, I'm working on that at the moment to get that under control a bit more, but if you are one of those persons, get up and have at least half a liter of water, or even better with some lemon in that water before you have your coffee, to help your body hydrate. You've just been sleeping for hopefully at least 7 hours without having any fluid. You've been sweating overnight, you've been breathing where you also lose fluids over. So you're actually waking up quite dehydrated. So just make sure first thing in the morning, refuel your body, rehydrate your body with some proper water. Unfortunately, it's not just water what we need, there's also minerals and vitamins, and obviously that's not in our particular, and tap water as well. If you don't have a filter yet, like really there is so much shit in our water, particularly here in Perth. You open the tap and you can smell the chlorine, like it's the chlorine. Sorry, like it's plain disgusting. There's a lot of different filters out there. Some are better than others, kind of on your budget, depending what you can afford. Or, you know, if you want to go the real expensive way, go and buy some water. But as long as you at least start with one of those on the counter filters, the Brita little jug thingies, you're already doing your body a lot better with that. I've listed on the actual blog post a few signs and symptoms of dehydration. I'm just going to mention a few here now. Headaches is obviously one that a lot of people complain first off when they start getting dehydrated, but also dry, cracked lips, having a dry feeling in your mouth, like a constant funny chewing feeling. The color of your urine, as you probably know, is a good one to measure how well you're hydrated or dehydrated. The lighter in color, the better. Also muscle cramping, so as I said earlier when I started, like having pains or aches or just discomfort in the joints and the muscle can be a sign of dehydration. And the most simple sign, really, and probably most ignored sign, is hunger. Hunger is often actually thirst. But over time we've just become so conditioned, we don't feel that anymore. So here's a challenge for you for the next week. Just be very aware every day you start getting hungry. Instead of going straight to the pantry or the fridge and grabbing something to eat, go and have at least 250 ml to half a liter of water and wait 5 minutes and see how you feel then. I'd love to hear your feedback on that, to be honest. Now the question to how much water do I actually have to drink? Alright. So we have those 8 glasses of water, or 8 ounces. I'm not too familiar with the ounces. Personally, I think that I've did the calculations. It's in the blog post as well. It comes out to like a liter and a half, I think, a day, which personally and from experience from my clients as well is simply not enough. Again, it also depends how tall you are, how old you are, how active you are, all those kind of things. But a minimum of 2 liters of water is really what the body needs to kind of functions, but probably closer to 3 liters a day is what we're looking at, and that's on just a normal, 15 to 20 degree day. So once we get hotter, you're looking into more water. If you're doing exercise, if you're sweating, again, it's such an individual thing how much water you need to drink. Hence it is so important to really get back in touch with ourselves and just feel and listen for the symptoms and signs and what our body tells us what it needs. As a rule of thumb, make sure you've got at least 2 liters a day in, but to aim for even more would be perfect. The last thing I want to talk to you about is movement in context with hydration. A lot of people, once they start drinking more water, they come back and tell me, all that happens is I'm going more to the loo now. And I was like, well, most of the time they're those people that kind of sit in an office chair all day, hardly ever move, and they're just gulping down their water, and yeah, guess what, it's just going to go right through you without getting into the cellular level where we actually need the water to exchange nutrients and to get the toxins out in the bloodstream and the lymphatic system and so forth. If you look at our body, we're actually a system of tubes. Our digestive tract is a tube, our arteries and veins are tubes, lymphatic system is tubes, everything is a tube. So when we're sitting all day, we're nicely creating angles in the hips, in the knees, even in the back sometimes. Some people get this nice little head position here as well. So you're cutting off those tubes in all sorts of positions. Now imagine those tubes being like your water hose in the garden. What happens if you put a kink into that hose? The water doesn't flow through anymore. Maybe a little bit still, but definitely not as easy as before. And it's pretty much the same that happens in our body. So if you're restricting that water flow constantly because you're just sitting, not moving, not being upright in a position where everything just can flow, the water is not going to go into those cellular levels and just will go straight into the kidneys and get excreted. So key here really is, with those 2 liters a day minimum that I would recommend to drink, I'd recommend to have at least 1 of those liters standing up, walking around, or at least once you've drunk it, get up, walk around, do some stretching even, just some light stretches, nothing too vigorous. But just get the body moving, get everything flowing. The cardiovascular system is lucky in a way because it's got the heart to pump, so blood is constantly flowing, getting oxygen into our body, getting toxins out of our body. However, the lymphatic system actually relies on the muscles around it and on the muscles moving and creating a pumping action to get the lymphatics moving up and down. So if you're sitting and not moving those muscles, your lymphatic system will become pretty sluggish and therefore will put quite a stress on that system to work properly. So everyone who's worked with me on a physical level knows how I talk about mobilizers and teach mobilizers. And mobilizers have particularly been designed to work on the soft connective tissue, on the fascia, which I talked earlier, which gets really glued up, and actually probably the first tissue that gets glued up when you start getting dehydrated. So doing those mobilizers, they're really designed to get into that tissue to then help to loosen that and make that nice and gooey again, and so you can move more easy and with less pain. So if you have any questions on mobilizers, feel free to give me a ring or send me a text or an email. Always happy to answer any questions, as you know, or even book in for a session with me. I hope over time in future I will pop some on the net as well, but that's still in the works, so nothing on the net as of yet, I'm afraid. So yes, that's from me about hydration. I hope, as I said in the beginning, you got some different information out of this, maybe some motivation as well. Please go and try this, as I said, 1 week. Every time you feel hungry, have some water instead and just see if that makes any changes to your hunger feeling, and love to hear your feedback on that. So yeah, off you go, have fun, and I'll see you on the next blog. Bye.